Many thanks for staying with us. Now, Nigeria's special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, has upheld the proposed bill from the Presidency seeking reforms in the nation's tax collection processes. You would recall that the Federal Executive Council, which the President presided, recently endorsed new policy initiatives aimed at streamlining Nigeria's tax administration processes, enhancing efficiency and also eliminating redundancies across the nation's tax operations. However, governors of 19 northern states under the Northern Governors Forum recently poked holes in the new derivation-based model for value-added taxes, now distribution in the new tax reform bills before the National Assembly. Now, joining me on the program to discuss this is Professor John Gambola, as a member of the Academic Advisory Committee for the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS, Kuru Jos. And of course, I have physically with me in the studio, that's Professor John Simon Na is a public affairs public affairs analyst. He joins me live in the studio. Thank you for your time, Professor Na.
Thank you very much, and good evening, viewers.
Good evening. Now, let me start with what you think of this reforms, tax reforms, given the current economic situation of Nigerians, because in many quarters it has started generating apprehension.
Yeah, it will generate apprehension because government has not been sincere with the tax reforms. I'm not talking basically about the present government, I'm talking subsequent governments. Even before now, you can see that government have been increasing taxes arbitrarily. Recall that in 2019, VAT was increased from 5% to 7.5%. Recall equally that before now, the education tax used to be 2%. The last administration moved it to 2.5%, and last year it was moved to 3%. So there has been arbitrary increases in taxes. And and when these things come, I'll give you a typical example. Last year, in 2019, when the VAT was increased to 7.5%, we are told that it's going to be for ostentatious goods. But check out every other good today. It's taxed 7.5%. So people have been watching this trajectory, and they believe that government has not been sincere. So when government comes out with these reforms and increment in tax and what have you, people will take it the way it has always been. I think that's the apprehension of the North. Taiwo Yedele came on to say that it's a win-win for everyone, because from his perspective, he is saying that, you know, we are moving out from the old system where VAT is paid at the headquarters of the collecting agent, or the paying agent rather. Right now, is going to be where it is domiciled. That's where it's collected from. So for instance, if an organization is in Kano and has a head office in Lagos, the VAT collected in Kano will be paid in Kano. That's what it's trying to say. But before now, they pay at the head office. So he says he wants to streamline this. And the other thing he was talking about is streamlining the various agencies that are collecting these taxes. You know, the inland revenue, the state inland revenue, and the federal inland revenue, and even the local governments. You know, they have their own form of collecting taxes. So they want to streamline everything. But I think where the fear is coming from, and I want to equally say this for the records. You see, the North is afraid. For instance, they know that they have outlawed taking of beer. And the majority of the VAT is coming from beer.
Alcohol.
And alcohol beverages generally. So I think that's where their fear is. Because before now, there's a pool of all the VATs, and every state shares from that pool. Now, what is going to happen now is that Because they don't do alcohol beverages, those VAT will not be, they will not benefit from it. But Taiwo Ayodele assured them that even the food they are producing that are not vatable will be considered. So at the end of the day, that's why he said it's going to be a win-win situation. However, because of government insincerity, people are averse to believe in that.
This administration,
in
you know, I mean, there are sound bites where the president, you know, has said, talked about increasing the tax net, the tax bracket, and even though to many Nigerians this might come, you know, suddenly, it might not be an entire surprise. Now, this is where I'm going. On this program, just about 2 days ago, the CSP to the governor of Bayo State actually said that a lot of the revenue that should go to the state from the companies that are functioning there actually goes to the headquarters that is outside the state.
That's exactly what I just said.
Exactly. So I'm getting at somewhere. So what is the implication of this proposal? Should it pass through to state in terms of revenue generation?
Yeah, if it sells through, which I'm afraid of, I'll tell you why I'm afraid of it. You see, the Governors Forum, the Northern Governors Forum, have told their members in the National Assembly to oppose that. And recall that they have majority in the House. So if they buy what their governors are telling them, it's not going to sail through at the National Assembly because they are in the majority. They have 19 states and the senators 19 times 3. So you look at that. So when it comes to voting, majority carries the day. So they are going to vote against it. However, if for any reason it sells through, maybe because in presidential system, what people do outside Nigeria is the lobby. When such things come, you go to the National Assembly and lobby. In fact, there is a lobby society in the US I'm aware of, that when such issues come, these guys move in and begin to lobby the members of the National Assembly, members of the Assembly, you know. But here, we throw money, Ghana must go here and there, you know. We don't do the right lobbying. Now, if for any reason it sells through, the states will benefit. Yeah, because right now, what is going to happen is that every company that is working in every state, even telecom taxes, where the person that is making the calls resides, is where the taxes will be paid. So that will make the states to get more revenue.
So there's also the issue of the ease of doing business. I mean, if you must tax me, for instance, you must ensure that the conditions to make profit is there. But in the case of Nigeria, a lot of businesses, given the current economic climate, are struggling, trying to stay afloat. Some are, you know, downsizing, cutting costs. We now have companies having their workers work remotely for most part of the week just to stay in business. There's also the issue of multiple taxation, from the state all the way to the federal. So how does this, you know, come into play with this new reform?
The ease of doing business that the government has been parroting, for me, is just one of those things, because they are not doing anything to ease the business environment in Nigeria. You are talking of electricity. How many days or weeks did the North was it not cut off from the national grid? It was just yesterday that they got back electricity. So how do they function? What is the cost of diesel? What is the cost of fuel? So at the end of the day, the ease of doing business is just a small screen. They are just, we are just making noise about it because government is not doing anything to ease business in Nigeria. So like you said, most businesses are folding up. If you move around, you'll see that most businesses are folded up. In fact, 70, okay, let's say 60 to 65% of the multinationals have left Nigeria. And why did they leave Nigeria? They can't cope. The energy, it's so expensive. Labor is so expensive, and what have you. Okay, look at the new minimum wage. Those private sectors, will they be able to cope to pay the new minimum wage with the current situation in the country? My answer is an emphatic no. It's going to be a problem. And labor will come in again with their own wahala, because at the end of the day, they will start picketing some of these companies. So at the end of the day, the government should do something serious. Honestly, it is not easy. It is not easy.
I mean, for many Nigerians,
yes.
they definitely would agree with you on that one.
Nigerians are suffering. Even a senator said that at the floor of the Senate. That's, what's his name again, from Edo State. Adam Soshomele, who is a member of APC, at the floor of the Senate, said Nigerians are suffering.
But it seems, I'm sorry, on the part of many politicians, that just seems to be a rhetoric.
Yeah, it is.
It feels like, for many Nigerians, it feels there's a disconnect. They just say it. For some Nigerians, they feel that when they say it out of lip service, and maybe not from a sincere point. But maybe you might have a diverse opinion.
It might be right. It might be right.
You know, you might have a diverse opinion.
Right,
it might just be Nigerians thinking, you know, that.
No. Because the president said, we feel your pains, and he's buying expensive jets.
And then the price
how can he be feeling our pains?
The price of the petrol per
each time he travels out of the country, watch him, the price of fuel is increased. And he's feeling our pains. How is he feeling our pains? I don't think he's feeling our pains. I think he's increasing our pains instead of feeling it.
I mean, coincidentally, he's also the Minister of Petroleum. But we need to go on a quick break. When we return, the show continues. Many thanks for staying with us. This is still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guest with me. And of course, we are treating the issue of the proposed tax reforms in the country, which should pass through the Assembly soon. Thank you for staying with me, sir. Now, because we are really pressed for time, I would like you to speak on what, in 30 seconds that is, what you feel should be done by the National Assembly, because the president also alluded to the fact that there might be adjustments from, you know, that arm of government. What do you suggest they should look at, the critical areas they should consider should this proposal, you know, sail through?
Now, the critical area they should consider is, that of ensuring that every organization pays tax where they are domiciled, not at their HQ. I think that will go a long way to help the situation. Again, the issue, because they funded the idea of increasing VAT again to 10%, I plead with them to drop that idea, because we have seen government in, government out. They say things, and when there is a backlash, they withdraw. Before you know it, from the back door, they smuggle it in. If they do that, they are going to kill most of the companies, honestly. Increasing VAT from 7.5 to 10% will be killing. Don't forget there are other taxes. You still have the education tax that they have increased again to 3%. So if a company makes profit outside the normal tax, the company tax, they will pay VAT, and outside the VAT, they will pay education tax. And my question is, what is government doing with all these taxes? Because the teachers are going on strike day in, day out. The essence of bringing education tax was to help in solving the problem of the teachers and the lecturers at the tertiary institution. But today, these taxes are paid, and people don't know. You see, in those days, when we were in secondary school in the 70s, we read one small book written by a Yoruba man, O.A. Lawal. And he said the essence of paying tax is for government to provide social amenities. He gave examples, e.g., pipe-borne water, electricity, good roads, security. Today, I provide my own electricity, I provide my own security,
so the question is, what is the government
So what's government doing with the tax?
Big question. Before I let you go, let's digress a bit. A story which, of course, broke out today and has been, eliciting a lot of reaction, across not just social media, even across the nation. Now, a federal high court was part of our headlines while we introduced the show. A federal high court in Abuja witnessed chaos on Friday, which is today, when several children allegedly involved in the hashtag End Bad Governance protest collapsed while being arraigned. We had to blur out the faces of these kids, you know, for privacy issues. But those are children on the floor you see on your screen who collapsed at the court today, being arraigned, you know, for crimes as high as treason, underage kids. I would like you to speak on this, sir.
My brother, it was a gory sight. And in a sane society, those children should not be brought to court. Naturally, what sane societies do is to take them to juvenile delinquencies. That's where they take them to a juvenile center where they will be treated and where they will be counseled. Not bringing them to court for what? You want to jail those kids? And they fainted there. The people that brought them to court didn't lift a finger. It was only the lawyer that was defending them. And I want to believe that that lawyer was defending them pro bono. It was a guy that went to buy biscuits and water for them. I mean, can we get serious in this country for once? Little kids like that, you brought them to court for what? For treason. And what was the offense? That they protested against bad government. Don't we have bad governance in this country? No. I want to ask questions. Because I don't understand any longer. How could a reasonable person bring those children to court? Why? For what? For what? What was the offense?
I mean,
they said they cannot feed. And look at them. Can they? They can't.
I mean, there's also news that of a 10 million naira bill, you know, for...
who's going to provide the 10 million naira bill?
For these kids. I mean, it's been alleged, 10 million.
I mean, we're not a serious country, honestly. And we need to get serious. We need to get serious, honestly, if we actually want to play in the League of Nations. I overheard them saying the other day that America has supported the Nigerian bid to become a permanent member of the United Nations. That's, as far as I'm concerned, that's not going to happen in the next 10 years. Because we are not a serious country. And they know it out there.
Well, we need to go. Thank you so much for your time, sir, on the program.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, there you have it. A lot to think about. In case you missed out, you can actually check up or catch up on our YouTube platform. That's News Central TV. You can also follow us across social media with the same name, News Central TV. You have it on your screen there. You can follow me personally at Dakpo Adigboye. Until I come your way on Monday, be a responsible citizen. Bye for now.